I'm Cam Harson, and this is Abnormal Entertainment. I don't know what I'm doing here because I'm the epitome of normal. I just. Wait. Hold on a second. Hey, didn't I say take it easy while I record this intro? Stop. Wait. Look. Now the fucking condom is all fucked up and busted. Stop it. Jesus fucking Christ. Enjoy the show, folks. Raise your spirits.
Raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Keep that in mind, folks. I'm racist.
He's got the hip.
We would definitely probably talk about
I
it.
can see it too. I'm gonna do that. The next time I get in a fight with somebody, I'm just gonna pop them. Booyah! And they're gonna go, what?
Women ruin porn.
Talking about soup? I start feeling a dick in my ass. I'm gonna wake the fuck up.
Raise
Embarrassing.
your
The Boogers or the
spirits.
key?
I like black girls.
Velveeta?
It's time to fill your glasses and raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin. Kevin's doing gin. Cam's doing 3-ounce protein shakes.
Good evening, ladies. This is Kevin Moyers.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Cam Harston.
And welcome to the third episode of Raise Your Spirits with Cam and Kevin. We appreciate you guys coming back. We're having a lot of fun with this, and we hope you're having fun with it too. We seem to be getting some pretty good feedback.
Yeah, people are loving it. I'm happy people are loving it. And I'm appreciating the love. What's funny?
I thought you fell asleep there for a second.
I'm here, damn it.
This is a weird pregnant pause there. This is funny. All right, well.
What the fuck? You definitely have the giggles today. I just told you this a couple seconds ago.
I know, I do, but just, I've been running around with a 3-year-old. She's taking a nap right now. We're doing an afternoon recording today, which is unusual.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
This is new for us.
Well, it was never the intent, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So today...
We squeeze them in when we can.
Yeah. So today, because it is the rule, I do have just a light drink today. My usual gin with lemonade and cranberry, and I threw a couple lime wedges in there, which actually adds to it just enough, perfectly. So,
yeah.
What do you have over there?
I have my usual gin as well, with what is this? It's the vitamin water, like lemonade vitamin water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I also have a beer for balance though. Good old MGD 64.
In case you wobble to the left, the beer will balance. Get you wobbling to the right. Level out.
Since we're recording in the daytime, I don't want to make my gin too strong, so it's pretty much not as strong as I usually would have it. So I'm like, go ahead and throw it. I'll go ahead and double fist.
Yeah,
Why not?
I can't pass out after this. I got stuff to do. As soon as the kid...
You have responsibilities today.
That's right. Kid wakes up from her nap, it's crazy time, so...
Yep.
I think we're watching Robots after she gets up, so...
Very nice. Nothing wrong with robots.
No, not at all. So, I know we were talking about different topics for this episode, and I know you had a news story that you found that could lead us in the right direction.
Yeah, I have a question for you, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Where were you, a few days ago, 2-3 days ago?
Let's see, what's today? Today is Monday when we're recording, so... I don't know, Thursday, Friday? I don't remember, honestly.
So you're just hanging out? Don't really remember? You weren't milling around in Ohio by any chance, were you?
No, not me. I spent pretty much the weekend with the kid. That was it for me, so.
All right. Because I'm reading here. I found this article coming out of Lancaster, Ohio.
Yeah.
The authorities in Central Ohio are trying to solve a panties puzzle. Panties. Hundreds of pairs of mostly women's underwear were dumped along the side of a road. I heard this and I immediately thought of you. Your fucking panty. I figured you were on your panty bandit scheme. Yeah, it says Fairfield County Deputy Gary Hummel said Thursday the undergarments were found in trees and on hillsides in several spots this week on a road in Bern Township about 30 miles southeast of Columbus. It was a bunch of panties, right? So it says some of the panties were still folded the way they came in the packaging, while others appeared to have been worn. There were between 1,500 and 3,000 pairs of panties in all in the midst of colors and patterns.
Oh, nice.
says when they collected them, they filled about 10 large trash bags. So I'm just trying to figure out who the. So we can scratch you off the list, but I want to know who's in Ohio snatching panties and putting them on the side of the road, throwing them in trees even.
Well, I recorded Cinema Head Cheese with Jeff Dolniak yesterday, so it probably wasn't him.
Damn it, he was my number 2 guest.
Yeah, I know he was working all weekend. Let me see. Our buddy Mike Heenan, who does a little video for us for Head Cheese, he's been on the road, so it's a good possibility.
All right, so he's not accounted for so far. Cause it's probably a good possibility that this time it wasn't one of us.
Yeah.
Somebody out there did that. Probably some drunk guy. Crazy shit happens when you're drinking.
That's a weird thing. Some dirty, but some folded. It's almost like a laundry truck was making a delivery and a drop-off, and a pickup at the same time. But just panties.
Yeah, just panties. Investigators are baffled as to where the panties come from.
That'd be a great business for a pervert to start. Just like, we wash panties.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You can call it that, just panties.
The panty fluffer. Fluff and fold. Sniff and fluff and fold, probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god. Either that or they were selling them on like Japanese eBay. Because
that's always that.
Did you ever hear about that? Like in Japan they have vending machines for panties?
I did hear about that. That's crazy.
And I think they're used, which is weird.
Yeah.
And there was there's all kinds of weird stuff like that. There was somebody I heard once that was selling used panties, but what they did is they took a little bit of like the liquid from tuna fish and then something else, and they mixed it together and rubbed it on the panties to give it a certain scent.
Yeah, so that's disgusting. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're going to be dry heaving any second now. I know.
Yeah.
I know the thought of getting that close to a vagina nauseates you, but...
yeah. But good thing I have my balanced beer here.
Yeah. The beer
I can swallow that thought down that you just put in my head.
Wash down the bile that came up in the back of your throat. Oh, my God. That,
Yeah, so whoever's behind this has to have been doped up, drunk as shit, something like that, or could have possibly been just a delivery truck on a ride, like you mentioned,
or some kind of crazy college prank. That's the only, but that usually begins with drunkenness.
Yeah, exactly. 1,500 to 3,000 pairs in all. Those fucking crazy drunken Ohio kids, huh?
Well, I can't imagine there's a whole lot to do in Ohio. I think Cedar Rapids is there, and that's a giant amusement park. Or Cedar Point. I'm sorry, not Cedar Rapids, Cedar Point. But that you can only do that so many times. You can go ride the roller coasters. You know what I mean?
Isn't forgive me because I'm no geography buff, but isn't that Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yeah, and who the hell wants to be there?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm no geography buff, so Cleveland is shit pretty much.
Yeah. And, I was watching the Bears and the Browns preseason yesterday with my grandparents, and I realized that Cleveland has to be the worst sports town on the planet. Just the most miserable, because they've got really nothing.
Really?
The Browns have been horrible forever. The Cavaliers lost LeBron. That was their only hope. And then they had the guy that was killing hookers and stuffing them in the wall. Cleveland sounds like a great place.
Yeah.
But
welcome to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Hookers and walls and panties everywhere. Well, this was in Lancaster, Ohio. I have no idea how far that is away, but
no, and I'm not going to take the time to look. But Ohio in general, I
just thought that was a hilarious story.
It doesn't sound fun. Well, did you ever do anything crazy like that, being drunk or high or anything?
I've done some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I've done some crazy shit. Yeah, none of it involved panties, though. Yeah.
Well,
but
crazy shit for a gay
stories,
guy.
I'm sure I have a few.
Well, give me a good one.
A good drunk story. Most of my drunk stories come from late teens, early 20s when I was first perfecting my drinking. I pretty much have it down packed now. I'm not young and stupid anymore.
Well, do you Do you remember the first time you were drunk?
Yeah, the first time the first time I was drunk, I was 14 years old.
Nice.
I think I was 14, either late 13, going on 14, or probably 14. Um, what was it? I think it was pink panties. I drank pink panties. You ever heard of this drink, pink panties?
That's fitting.
Yeah.
considering
I
our
was waiting for it.
considering
I
our
was waiting for
story.
it, fucker.
No, that wasn't a gay joke. We went from a panty story to you drinking pink panties.
Oh yeah, I'm sure some of those panties had to be pink, right?
Yeah, I assume so. 80% of them
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, my first drunk was really I'm hanging out. We used to go hang out with my dad on the weekends. My parents separated long ago. We hanging out with my dad on the weekends. My dad was pretty happy-go-lucky, more of the friend type. He didn't really, care exactly. As long as we weren't burning no shit down, he didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
So he was pretty easy-go-lucky, and one of the neighbors, was making pink panties, and I don't even really know what's in pink panty. It's funny I mentioned this because I had pink panties again yesterday for the first time since I was 14. But I don't really know what's in them. It's kind of fruity and lemonade-y. The pink lemonade makes it pink.
Okay.
It's not really all that much liquor involved, but it was my first time ever drinking. So I had the pink panties at the ripe old age of 14 or so. And, it was kind of, this is pretty anticlimactic, but it wasn't that too crazy of a story. I just kind of bounced around the walls a little bit, did a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
A lot of, I was with some other kids, 14, 15, 16. So we were just, just hyper. My very first time was just hyper. I didn't even get into it enough to have the wherewithal to start doing stupid shit at that point.
Yeah.
But it was fun. You remember the first time you got drunk?
Yes. I know my dad would let us taste his beer, which was generally old style at that point, which was fucking gross, and still is. In fact, when the Bears were in the Super Bowl against the Colts a few years ago, our friend Dan, his great grandfather played for the Decatur Staleys, which is the original team that became the Bears.
Okay.
I don't remember the position, but he had a picture of him in his uniform, for good luck. Of course, the Bears lost that Super Bowl, but he got a 6-pack of Old Style, and a bunch of us from Chicago got together, and I'm the only person to drink too, because they're disgusting. So my dad would let us sip that, and I didn't like it. And then once he gave me a shot of whiskey, when he was pulling, I had a tooth, a baby tooth that had broken into 3, and he had to pull out the pieces, and he gave me a shot of whiskey, told me to swish it around, intended me to spit it back out, but I swallowed that, and it felt so good, that burn going down.
Yeah.
So, I didn't forget that, and now I'm not a big whiskey guy. Not really into it, but
It was good enough to create the monster, though.
yeah, and I wasn't drunk, but my friend Kevin, for his 12th birthday, few of us went to Chuck E. Cheese. His parents took us. I think it was 4 of us, and the thing, we were gonna go have pizza at Chuck E. Cheese, and then we were gonna go stay overnight at his house playing Nintendo all night long, and watching movies and shit like that. And I know that night, it was the first time I ever saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, nice.
So that was cool. And then we were watching something else that we ended up turning off. But he goes to get us some drinks, like Coke, but he poured a bunch of whiskey in the cups, almost 3/4 whiskey, and then 1/4 of it Coke. And
Goddamn rookies.
I smelled it. Yeah, this one kid, I think his name was Brian. He was in Scouts with Kevin. He sniffed it. He's like, "I'm not gonna drink that. I don't want it." He didn't like it. You know what I mean? And Kevin said, "All right, fine," and he drank it. And then he gave me mine. I was like, sniffed it. I was like, oh, I started drinking it. This kid Jeremy, he drinks all his, passes out. To the point where we're putting sausage from our pizza in his ears while he's sleeping, and he has no idea. In fact,
Nice.
he woke up, wiped his ear, didn't knock the sausage loose. It was still sitting in there, and he went back to sleep. So he was out cold. Brian, of course, was up all night because he was dead sober. And Kevin handled it just fine. And it was his 13th birthday party. I was still about a month and a half from my 13th. So I was still technically 12, and
Yeah.
I drank 2 cups like that, and stayed up all night. I made it, but in the morning, his birthday's in January, and in Chicago, I mean, it's snow on the ground. We go outside to have a snowball fight, but I was just not into it. I was just kind of standing there, barely making it.
Oh, your first little 12-year-old hangover.
Oh yeah, well no, but I wasn't even hungover yet because I was still awake all that time.
Oh shit.
And we'd been eating pizza all night. His dad goes and gets
Mhm.
his donuts, so then I eat a couple donuts, and then his dad drives us home, drops me off last, and I'm sitting there in the middle bench seat of this caravan that they had, with my head leaning back on the seat, and I get out of the van, go walk in my front door, and straight up the stairs to the bathroom and start puking. I was out sick from school for 2 days after that. That's how fucked up I was. And here I am.
But did the smell give you away? Don't tell me you got away with it.
No, I just said that I was feeling sick overnight and I ate pizza and donuts and whatever, and I got away with it.
No shit.
Yeah, not busted at all. And that amazed me because I drank a lot. And thinking of it now, I never thought about that before, that I should have smelled bad. But I never got busted for that. I don't know if my mom knew or not. I don't think so.
Dude, you got lucky. My mom could smell when I first really got into it, I was drinking Old English 800, and my mom could smell a teaspoon of that in my pores from a mile away.
Yeah.
I got busted so many times, I could never get away with it, just from sheer smell. She has a nose of a fucking whatever has a good nose.
You know what, though? I think how I got away with it, like when I would smoke in high school, and I don't now, but, and I didn't really heavily then, I just have a cigarette casually here and there, but my grandmother lived with us, and she did by that point, by the time I was 12. She lived with us and smoked constantly in the house, and my mom grew up with that too, so maybe just the smoke smell, and I didn't realize it as a kid, but now if I go into a house where people smoke, it's immediate, it hits me. And that overwhelms every other smell. Even sometimes when people are cooking, if it's too heavy, like my ex-in-laws smoked constantly, so that would overwhelm anything. It was soaked into everything, And I mean, so maybe that's why I got away with it, because I knew I'd get away with smoking. Smoke smell was on my clothes anyway. Now I realize I probably was kind of a smelly kid.
Yeah, you fucking reek, dude.
Yeah, and I didn't know it at that point, so. But, I mean, my mom was kind of oblivious to that stuff. And I remember even getting stoned once, and she had no clue. And
Really?
I would know. If I saw us the way we were, as again,
Right.
my friend Kevin, he crashed at my house, and I got a dime bag, and that was like my Christmas gift for him. Like, hey, look what I got. So we go out in the gangway between the houses, and we smoke in the middle of the night, and, a decent amount. And, we were still stoned in the morning. We were going to go to the mall. We're laughing hysterically at nothing. My mom's like, what are you two, stoned? And we just look at each other and fucking lose it. Absolutely lose it. And she's like, whatever. And then we leave, and we're singing Sweet Child of Mine all the way on the bus to the mall.
What the?
Well, yeah, we're acting like assholes.
Okay, so is there any chance that your mom... How was your mom at calling you out on other stuff? Is there any chance... Is she the type of person that knows stuff and doesn't want to embarrass you or feels uncomfortable bringing it up or something? Is there any chance that she knew? And she just didn't want to bring it up, or was she just, like, oblivious?
No, if she knew, she would have brought it up.
Wow.
But I think she was oblivious to it. Because she did find cigarettes in my room once. And she asked me about it immediately. And thankfully, 2 days before that, Kevin was caught by his mom.
Yeah.
And so I immediately said, no, they're his. And do his parents know? I said, yeah, they just found out a couple days ago. So he left them here, and I was just hiding him. I didn't want him to get in trouble. And she's like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, they're not mine. And she said, all right. And then next time
That's Kevin on Kevin crime.
Yeah. But no, he was cool with it. He's like, I was already busted. And his parents, all they told him was, just don't do it in the house. And so it was already okay. It was already okay by that point. And I told him, hey, just so you know, I told my mom these were yours because your parents are, not that they were cool with it. I mean, we were 17, But,
Right.
you know, they accepted they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit. No need for both of us to go down, right?
Right, and he was like, yeah, that's cool. And so when next time he was over, my mom asked him about it, and he goes, yeah, they know. They found out, you know, and they understand that it's something I'm doing, and they hope I get out of it. And he doesn't smoke now, but, you know, he quit once he had kids. But, yeah, it was excellent. Perfect timing, you know. So, what would happen to you when you got caught?
When I got caught drinking, let's see, when was the first time I got caught drinking? The pink panty weekend, I didn't get caught drinking. It was only pink panties, and you know, I didn't see my mom until a couple of days later.
Yeah.
I think the first time I got caught drinking, I remember there was one time. This was after I already had my license and stuff. I didn't get my license till 17 instead of 16, so I was older than 17 years old. And I did my fair share of fucking drunk driving. I was a dumbass kid.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I did my fair share of drunk driving. So I came home one night, and I made it all the way home, and I'm in the driveway, in my car, and my mom pulls up, and she pulls up to find me in the driveway with a 40 ounce of Old English in the passenger seat that was opened.
Oh, that's great.
Me laid back in the seat, and my driver's side door just wide open. Like, I guess I was attempting to get out of the car and get in, go to the house.
Yeah.
And this is what she came home to the driveway and found me. Who knows how long I was there? But yeah, she came she came home and found her oldest son, just laid out in the driveway with the door open and 40 ounce of open Old English in the passenger seat.
That's always good.
Oh man, at that point I used to get some hardcore wicked ass whoopings back then, but not back then, but before back then. At that point I was 17, I was too old for that, but God, did she cuss me out, and it was a big deal for a couple of months, man. I was on all kind of punishments and groundings, and I'm sure if I was small enough, she would have whooped the shit out of me, but it was far past that point. But it was a horrible time after that, man. It was, and then she was not happy, put it that way.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, that sucked.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I think part of my mom not catching it is I don't think she did a whole lot of that. I did get to hear a great story a little over a year ago, when I went back for my grandmother's burial. Somehow, I don't know how it got brought up, but somehow my brother and sister heard a story about her doing cocaine once.
Oh,
and yeah, I guess she was at a party, and she had to work the next morning or something, and she was up late, and they'd have a few drinks. I mean, my mom, like, drinking to her, at Thanksgiving, she'll make mudslides, you know what I mean? And I mean, with the ice cream and everything, you know what I mean? Just, it's like a Kahlua and chocolate milkshake. And she'll have one or two of those, and that's it. She doesn't drink beer. She doesn't drink liquor. I mean, probably a few times she's gone out with the girls from work, you know what I mean? But,
yeah, our moms have that in common. And my mom, when I was growing up, I never saw her drinking anything. And she doesn't smoke anything, cigarettes or otherwise. She's never smoked that I know of.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I never saw her drinking or anything. Now, after the kids are grown, okay, Thanksgivings and Christmas, she'll have a couple of drinks, but nothing too outrageous. So our moms have that in common.
Yeah, and it's she didn't smoke cigarettes, weed, any of that. I don't think my mom's ever tried weed. But she was at this party late, and, it's just a get-together with friends and stuff, and they're having fun, and she said, I need to work in the morning, I'm not going to get much sleep. And so a friend of hers gave her a little bump, told her to try it.
As soon as you said that, I was thinking, and then cue the creepy guy.
Yeah. No,
Try this.
I don't think it was that kind of a situation. It was just a friend.
Yeah.
And, like, this will help you stay awake. And she said she felt horrible. She was wide awake and just crazy the whole day. And so, of course, I'm calling her cokehead and, junkie and all this stuff for the rest of the day. And she's getting pissed off. We're all cracking up, and she's getting angry. But that just makes me do it more.
Of course.
So, yeah.
I don't think I have that genetic makeup. I don't know if it's in the genes or what, but I've never even, as far as drugs go,
Yeah.
Me and drinking got along as soon as we first shook hands when I was 13. But drugs, weed, I don't even consider weed a drug, but that's debatable.
Yeah.
I can't even handle weed. Like I stopped smoking weed over 10 years ago. But I couldn't even, I was doing that for a while, to be one of the cool kids and hanging out with the guys and hanging out with my family and cousins and stuff. And, everybody was smoking weed. So I was doing it for a while, but never really liked it. I always hated being high. So I've never even tried any of the others. I've never tried Coke or any of the other stuff. I have no interest. I'm not curious. And I have just no interest because I can't handle weed. So I don't even want to.
Yeah.
I'm good with drinking.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever done is weed, and I've been curious about mushrooms, but not enough to really go after it. You know what I mean? Just the thought of hallucinating and seeing things is interesting to me, but there's that loss of control. Even when I'm loaded, ass, shit-faced drunk, I still have some semblance of control. I still know not to get into a car. Not that I haven't driven buzzed, but it's been a long time since I've done that, thankfully. But I still have the common sense enough to know I'm drunk. And most of the time I will look in the mirror and go, okay, you're drunk right now. And I have this little conversation with myself. And it usually involves some giggling at myself in the mirror.
I do that too. I find myself in the bathroom splashing water on my face and looking at myself and talking to myself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're fucked up.
Yeah.
So, no driving for you, buddy. You're staying exactly where you are. And I'm telling this to myself in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh, I've done it too. Like, oh, you're fucked up right now. Usually it's at a friend's house, and I go to the bathroom, I take a 4-gallon piss. I'm at that point at the night, and I just look at myself. You are messed up, and I stare real good, make sure I
I try to get my game face back on.
Yeah.
So when I go outside, I will look less fucked up than how I feel.
I know, isn't it stupid?
I'm just going to go outside and look normal.
You can pull this off.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it.
Depends on who I'm. Most people I'm around, I don't give a shit who knows if I'm fucked up or not. But every once in a while, mixed company, I'm like, I don't want to appear to be that fucked up, even though I am. So let me try to put a game face on. It usually not. Of course, when you look back on it after, that never fucking works.
No, and usually if you're in the backyard group of friends, you're all at about the same level at the same point. Exactly. So it doesn't matter, and you're all being assholes and messing around. So. It's funny how you do that, but I don't know.
But like you said, with alcohol, there's a level of especially if you've been drinking for a long time, like I have. There's a level of you can maintain yourself. I'm scared of the alcohol is the devil that I know.
Right.
You said you express an interest in the mushroom. I have no interest in mushrooms or anything otherwise. Like I'm just I don't know. I'm not curious. I don't want to know. I'll stick to and different alcohols give you different buzzes and different levels of drunk, of course. But sure. I'm familiar with mostly all of them, so that I can handle.
Yeah, and it's not even an interest to me. It's just it's an interesting idea of seeing things. But again, that loss of control, I don't like that. And even weed, I have enough control where I know what's going on. But the thing I never really liked about that is that I just want to go to sleep. Yeah. And I don't need to hear the stoners. It's an indica or a sativa or what. I don't know what any of that means, and I don't care. You got the wrong kind of weed. No, shut up. Not everybody's gonna react to weed like it opens up your mind and makes you see the. Shut up. They talk like it's the sunglasses from They Live. You know what I mean? Like, you're Roddy Piper. Here's your sunglasses. Here's your weed sunglasses, and now you can see everything.
I've never seen that, by the way, but I do know that that's a movie, right?
Yes.
All right.
A movie starring one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Roddy Piper. Well,
you want to know a quick side note? You want to know why I know that that's a movie? Because I saw the South Park episode based around that.
Oh, really?
And somebody mentioned that, that's from They Live. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but this was a kick-ass South Park episode.
Well, it's a funny movie. I mean, it's an action flick, but it's got a sense of humor, and it's John Carpenter, the same guy that did Halloween, the original, and he did like The Thing and a lot of good horror stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, it's Roddy Piper, and he's just a guy who's down on his luck, and he comes across these sunglasses that when you put them on, you can see like the hidden subliminal propaganda behind all the advertisements and what's on TV. And some people look like these crazy robots. Yeah, and they're the people that are really controlling things. So you can see behind this facade, behind this mask, and it's funny, but and it's just a fun movie, fun action
Nice.
movie. But yeah, I don't know, I like it. It's a good time.
Hey, I want to get back to weed for us. Something you said earlier reminded me that there's some. You know what I did like about weed though?
What's
There was
that?
a lot of stuff that I didn't like about weed, but there's two main things that I loved about weed.
Yeah.
First of all, number one, the munchies. The munchies, like food never ever, and I'm not a big food guy. I'm not crazy restaurant. I don't really like all that much fast food.
Yeah.
I'm not a big foodie. But food never ever tasted as. That's the one thing that everybody says, and it's really true. Like, oh, the munchies are the fucking best. Food never tastes as good to me back then as when I was getting high. I'm like, oh, I kind of missed that love of food. Of course, I would be a fat ass if I was still smoking. But-
Yeah.
So that's probably for the best. But the other thing that it's like for some reason I don't know, it doesn't. When I talk to people, it's not the same for everybody. But weed made me extremely horny.
Really?
Oh man, weed made me so fucking horny all the time. And I don't know what that. I don't know what the relationship between weed and my brain is. But as soon as I got high off weed, I was like, fuck. I hang out for as long as I can. Then I was dismissing myself to go be alone or go find somebody to do some stuff with.
Yeah. That's see, I've never had or even heard of somebody saying that. I've heard that with alcohol.
Ugh.
People get horny on alcohol. But see, I never got the munchies.
Really?
I sometimes get the giggles and usually just want to go to sleep. I almost every time wanted to go to sleep. And a couple times I got like this weird, but who knows, it could have been laced and I didn't know or whatever, but a couple times I got this weird thing where like 10 seconds ago felt like 10 hours ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I got that before, too, with the weed.
Yeah, and that I'm not a big fan of. So, I don't know.
With the weed. I sound like an old fucking... I got that, too, with the weed.
The only thing I really love about it is the way it smells. I do love the way it smells.
the way it smells.
So I'm fine with, if I can smell somebody else is smoking it and I can kind of smell it and it's a little in the distance, I like
Yep.
that. It's a nice smell to me, and that's it. That's all I need from it. You know,
I like it when the way it smells natural, and I like it after it's lit up, too. I still love the way it smells.
yeah.
I just have no interest in... I won't lie. Every once in a while, but it's mostly when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I kind of think, like, maybe I want to get high again one day. Because I know for a fact that I could never be addicted to it because it was never my thing. But every once in a while, when I'm drunk mostly, I'm like, I think I can get high. I feel like getting high, but I'm usually never around it all that much. So,
Yeah.
my record still stands. I haven't smoked in over 10 years, and I'm never saying never, but I'm not really interested.
Yeah, it's a long time ago for me
Yeah.
too. It's just I don't have the interest, and even drinking I like. See, I won't do anything that I don't like the experience. Even cigarettes. I keep saying even cigarettes in high
Are
school.
you doing an impersonation of me? I
Yeah.
said that a lot.
You were complaining about saying that the other day. But when I smoked cigarettes in high school, I did like the taste of it. And everybody was like, what? Are you kidding me? And I did kind of like that taste. And it's the same thing with a cigar. I like that sort of smoky taste of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And not a ton, not where I smoke. You get halfway through a cigar sometimes, you're like, I'm done with this. And, cigar, you clip off the cherry and save it for later,
Right.
But, I mean, a beer, I will not drink beer I don't like the taste of,
Right.
I don't just drink to get drunk. And same thing with alcohol. I don't like straight taste of alcohol. It's got to be a good flavor. That's why I don't do shots of whiskey and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. I don't want that sort of taste, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Every once in a while I can get that. This all goes back to after I get drunk, then I can get down with some shots.
Yeah.
But I never start off with my night with some shots, though.
But even that, I mean, something good, a good mixed shot where it tastes good. You know,
Yeah.
like you have an oatmeal cookie or something like that. You know what I mean? Something a little crazy like that. But
Yeah.
you know, you do something like a Four Horsemen that tastes like hell, and it's not going to do anything but get you sick. You know.
Ugh.
You ever
That
have one
doesn't
of
even
those?
sound good. I don't even. What is that?
It's Jimmy, Jack, Johnny, and Jose. So
The Four Horsemen.
Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker, and Jose Cuervo,
Oh.
and then you float 151 on top and light it.
Oh.
It's disgusting,
Yeah, not
absolutely
for me, thanks.
disgusting. So you know it's and there's different versions of that. Liquid cocaine, which is all but one of those four, and the Three Wise Men is all but Jose Cuervo, and you know stuff like that. So
Yeah, because who's ever heard of a wise Mexican?
yeah.
Just kidding, Mexicans. I love you. Hey, you know, you touched on something earlier. You got lucky that you and you know how much I smoke cigarettes. So you got lucky. I consider yourself. That's how we talk around here. I
Yeah.
consider yourself lucky that.
Well, when I'm honest
never-
with myself, I'll be honest.
Definitely,
With me.
probably.
Yeah, we're grammar tards on this show for some reason.
But yeah, dude, smoking cigarettes is a big vice of mine, and it costs a lot, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's shunned socially. I fucking love it. I'm not gonna stop anytime soon. If I have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you talked about when you used to smoke, but my first time I had a cigarette, I started late from when most people started. I was 22 years old. Or maybe 21, right before I turned 22.
Yeah.
I remember I was on my way to the military, but that's another story. Yeah, but just out the blue, I wanted cigarettes. I wanted to try a cigarette. And the very first hit of that very first cigarette was like fucking heaven. And I still wish to this day that I would have had the experience of coughing it up and I wish I would have thrown up and coughed the lung out and said this was disgusting and never tried it again. But no, it was heaven. It was heaven, and it's been a fucking a lovely thorn in my side ever since.
Well, you were smoking cigars for a while, like the cigarillos.
Yeah, I was smoking the
Swishers.
cigarillos for a while.
Yeah.
Before that, I had stopped smoking everything completely. I had to quit cigarettes.
Yeah.
I was doing good for about 7 or 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the slippery slope with the cigars.
Yeah.
And then the cigars led to the cigarettes, and now I'm back full-fledged on the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Now, the cigars are, few and far between, special occasions. Because for a little while there, I was doing both.
Yeah.
And I was smoking the cigars I was out of the closet with the cigars, and I was a closet cigarette smoker. Everybody was so proud of me for quitting cigarettes, and it had been a year, from what they thought it had been a year since I quit cigarettes, and
yeah.
But I'm out the closet now. Everybody knows I'm smoking again, and everybody's understandably disappointed, and life goes on.
That seems like a strange window for quitting smoking. People seem to be able to make it about 6 months and be fine, and then between 6 months and a year is when people start up again. And there's always an excuse. I was stressed. I was gaining weight, so I went, and it's always this, I just want that cigarette. Nobody can just admit, I just wanted a fucking cigarette.
Yeah, exactly. Although I was the one guy, I didn't make any qualms or excuses. It started, like I said, with the cigars.
Yeah.
And I think I was honest with you at the time. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, at the time I think I had quit smoking, but when I went to Phoenix, I was smoking cigarettes over there.
Yeah.
I think so, if I'm remembering right.
I think you were gonna. Your thought was you were gonna smoke just when you were here, and then just vacation smoking. And I'm like, that's not gonna work, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's you just let me live. Let me think my whatever fantasy thoughts I wanted.
Yep, you're the guy with the pacemaker. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It'll protect me.
Yeah. Oh God. But see, I've never had that. Well, I shouldn't say that. As far as an addictive thing, I've never been addicted to alcohol or cigarettes or anything that people generally think of with addiction. But I'm always. I've always got caffeine. somewhere. You know what I mean? I always tend to have, or one thing I always have a beverage of some sort, and that's something like I remember back when I was a kid, I'd either go buy Snapple when those came out, or those Clearly Canadian. You remember those sparkling,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
bubbly
I remember
waters, but
those.
they were fruit
I
flavored.
hadn't
Those,
thought about those for years until you just said it, but yeah, I do remember Clearly Canadian.
yeah, there was a J.J. Pepper's, which is a convenience store in Chicago, right that opened up right by my house, and they had these Clearly Canadians, and I'd always go get those. Or they had those Lipton iced teas. Remember the old Bo Jackson commercial, and he'd slam the whole thing in one shot. Uh,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he like drop it. I remember he'd drop it from the roof of the building, run down the stairs, grab it, and slam the
That's
whole
right.
thing down.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But it was the Lipton or the Clearly Canadian or the Snapples, and I'd get one almost every day. And I got into that weird habit of always needing to buy a drink, and that still sort of sits with me. I still have trouble with that today, and it's it's a waste of money when I'm spending $1.25 on a 20-ounce Coke or whatever it is. Meanwhile, you can buy a 2 liter for 99 cents. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's that wanting it at that moment. So there's that, and I don't know if it's not necessarily caffeine. I don't think because of that, but energy drinks got mixed into that, and I was drinking those constantly for a while. So, but I think it wasn't necessarily the caffeine or a specific type of drink. It's just beverages in general, and I always need that, which is very strange to me. And I don't know
Yeah, I
what that
noticed that
is.
about you, and I know for a fact when you get up in the morning, you have to have your coffee.
Yeah, most days. I mean, I had about a half a pot of coffee this morning. But at least that, I'm not going to Starbucks and doing that anymore, because that was part of that cycle too. And that's $4 a pop, you know what I mean? And you start paying that on your credit card, you get 100 drinks, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You're 3 months in, and you got $400 on your credit card just from Starbucks, and that's ridiculous and stupid,
Yeah,
So
that's beyond ridiculous.
that kind of thing, that's always been with me. But at least I'm smart enough now. I got a carafe in my fridge, pour whatever I don't drink in there, and I got iced coffee for later or whatever. But
And that's coming from me on the adverse is I drink about maybe 2 to 3 cups of coffee a year.
yeah,
I have to really be in the mood, and it's
Yeah.
usually hungover. Usually that mood is hungover.
well, the caffeine thing was explained to me though by a psychologist I was seeing, and I'm going back to because I got my problems. But anyway,
Yeah, don't we all?
she realized that I had ADHD and said that there's something, and she said, one of her kids has it, and she said what it is there's some sort of a deficiency in your brain, and she equated it to almost like a fuel tank, and whatever's in that tank, say it's about 30% full, your brain, you'll crave the caffeine, and that replaces whatever you're missing. So, and she said, do you ever have like a lot of caffeine and then you could just go right to sleep? And I said, yeah, all the time. And she said, what that is it's getting you to level, to where you're level, and then you're good. You know what I mean? And without that stuff, you have trouble focusing and stuff like that. And in the early days when they started to notice ADD and all that, they would give kids big, strong cups of coffee, and it would help them pay attention in class.
Really?
Yeah, and it would help them actually settle down and relax. So, and that's kind of what it does for me. It helps me, where people say they get energy from it, for me, it gets me sort of more focused and easier to pay attention. And I don't know, that's sort of weird, but I totally understood it once she explained it that way. Then it made sense to me. So I don't know. And I know everybody's like, I got ADD, I got ADHD. And who knows, it could be a generational thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Could be.
every kid has a peanut allergy now.
Oh, yeah.
Including mine, unfortunately.
Yep.
And I've
Yep.
seen the physical outcome of it. Her eyes swelled shut eating a peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? And I've seen her allergies, eggs. She gets rashy on the face and stuff. And it's like a weird. I think it might be a generational thing because there are chemicals in food now that there weren't 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
different things change in the products we use, and People were using aerosol cans for however long. People were smoking and drinking during pregnancy, when our parents were having kids. You know what I mean? They didn't
Right.
really know yet it was bad. So,
And it sucks how the shit rolls downhill, man, because your kid, unfortunately, got stuck with a lot of fucking allergies and a lot of things like that.
Oh, yeah. But
That
it's
sucks.
common to her generation.
Right, exactly.
So, I don't know. Who knows? But, yeah, hopefully she gets like me and doesn't have the addiction thing necessarily. You know what I mean? Or it's something dumb like, she likes to collect stickers or something.
Yeah, that's funny. I never even knew that they used to give kids back in the day a cup of coffee for their ADHD. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just insanity.
You
But
sure that wasn't just a money making scheme by fucking Sanka?
Senga, the evil people
Senga?
behind
Yeah,
instant coffee.
all those big wigs at Sanka were laughing at you fuckers.
Oh, wouldn't that be so fucked up?
And you see we're there now, so that's all right. They got theirs.
Well, did you ever think about stuff like that? Something that isn't necessarily considered an addiction, but if you really look at it, you might think, oh, I do have an addiction to this.
Do I have any? I haven't spent too much time thinking about it. I'm trying to, now that you mentioned it, I'm trying to think, do I have anything like that?
Well, I'll give you another example for me, and I don't have it anymore, but I used to collect action figures.
Yeah.
And, that it became this obsessive thing where I'd have to get all the ones in this series, all the pieces in this series. Like there was a line of movie action figures. And I got rid of all that stuff now. I don't have it anymore, and I don't have that sort of collector mentality. But I think that's an addiction in a way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean,
It's some sort, on some level, yeah. I mean, of course it is.
so is there anything like do you become obsessive about, or anything?
I know I'm definitely obsessed about cleaning. Like we all call each other neat freaks, I guess, because that sounds better. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm just legitimately a neat freak, or if I'm obsessive about it. But yeah, I like cleanliness and organization are my friends.
Yeah. Is it something you get crazy about if it's something's out of order?
Yes. I don't even have to think about that. This very quick and short answer, yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't spill over into the real world or other people's houses, and it's just my home. It's not my car, and it's not other people's homes, and it's not other people's shit, but it's just my house. I definitely, a quick yes. I get very obsessive, and everything has to be in its right place.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been that way with other people's houses either, I guess. But and mine, I try to keep it clean. But with a 3-year-old, you're gonna have a mess.
Yeah.
But I get that once I get that mess cleaned up and it's organized, I feel it's nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't get crazy obsessive about it unless some you go in somebody's house and it's really disgusting, and it's basically a tear down. Then I get a little weird about that. But
And now you have me thinking that this could be a nature versus nurture thing too, because I saw my mom yesterday, and we were leaving to go to a holiday function at another family member's house, and she had my niece over, her granddaughter. So the house was, for her, the house was kind of a mess.
yeah,
And to anybody else, the house would be, spotless.
right.
But so before we were leaving, we were all leaving together, me, the mom, and the niece. So she doesn't like to come home to her house being a quote unquote mess. So as I went to go take the baby and put her in the car, my mom vacuumed her house first. We're sitting outside in the car waiting for her to come out. She has to finish vacuuming her house first, so that once she gets back home, she can come home to nice clean lines in the carpet.
Nice.
And and now that has me thinking and that's how I was raised. Of course, she didn't just start doing this last week.
Yeah.
So that's how I was raised my whole life. So I'm like, is that something? Is that nurture, or is that just part of my nature? Would that have been part of my nature had I been raised by a different mom? I don't know, but I think my mom probably has a lot to do with it because our house was always spotless. Once we were old enough to clean, then everything stayed clean always.
Well, did she kind of push that on you, or just like, hey, it's just part of life?
She did more than kind of push it on me. It was strict. It
Yeah.
was strict governed by law in my household.
Okay.
Shit didn't get stacked up and junky around my parts.
Yeah. See, I always use like, let's clean up so we don't step on anything. You know what I mean, and break it and that kind of thing. It's just like, let's
Right.
just clean it up so it's not, we're not tripping over things. So
Yeah.
there's that. And see, to me, maybe a lot of people go the opposite way when they're in a crazy house like that. Like I'm pretty well organized, and it's the total opposite of my mom's house. Every time I go back there, I'm just like horrified the entire time I'm there about the
Really?
level of cleanliness, and it cracks me up because I clean up the house and there's still things I'm going, holy shit. But it's more that there's clutter, and I've become a very minimalist sort of person. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so I don't like the clutter or the mess too much. If it gets too much, I get a little weird about it.
Yeah.
And I try to figure out how to eliminate it. But I wonder if for you, because you grew up with that and then you went into the military where order and those
Mhm.
lines are drawn, so it just sort of continued your education into that. Because
I fully agree. That made everything. I don't know if it's considered worse or better, but that made everything definitely more concentrated on the organization. It just went up a notch.
Well, it
That's
cemented that whatever your
Yeah.
mom put in your head, it was like, okay,
Exactly.
this is the way it is in the real world, in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And I had many problems in my military career, but being organized was one thing I never had a problem with. I liked that part.
Yeah.
That part was good. I was fine with that part, and I actually enjoyed. I love cleaning. So I love cleaning and order and having things in the right place. They're quote unquote right places, but
Like
so
what's his name on Full House? You remember that? Danny
Uh,
Tanner, Bob Saget.
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely a neat freak.
Psychotically clean, yeah. Oh, but
Sometimes I wish the real Bob Saget would have just hopped out of that character on accident. We could have got some fucking cursing and smut out of that show. That would have been hilarious.
hey, you cunts, let's vacuum.
He needs to go back and do something. They need to go all meet up and do some type of something like that, and update it for all of us. I know people would love to see that.
Oh yeah, like they used to do with TV shows. They do like the horrible reunion show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 20 years later, and all the cast got together, and somehow they have to solve a mystery that happens in Australia.
Yeah,
Like-
but I don't want fucking Danny Tanner. I want Bob fucking Saget in the role.
That could be
Cussing and
interesting.
all.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know. I just women to me are messier than anything in the world. And
Oh yeah.
a lot of women
Sure.
won't admit it, but women are slobs. And the easiest way to define this: walk into a men's room, then walk into the ladies' room.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
you find
That's a perfect example.
yeah, you'll find a couple pee drops on the seat in the men's room. All right, fine, not that bad. But maybe a couple squares of toilet paper on the floor. You go into a ladies' room, the worst ladies' room story I've ever heard. This is the place I met Dave Hayes and Jeff Dolniak. We all worked together. But this is before I was there and before Jeff was ever there. And Dave
Okay.
worked in there. And we had this girl that worked there named Diana. And she was a behemoth of a human being.
Big D.
And she was short, definitely probably about 5'5", probably weighed 280 or so, but just like a mound. She was just shaped like a mound. And she
Okay.
was disgusting. I don't know when the last time she took a shower was, but it was it had 1980 in the beginning of it. Okay?
Oh, that's gross, dude.
She would
There's
walk
something
around.
even worse about a woman who reeks.
Oh yeah, she would walk around with her shoes off, and
Oh.
and when she walked, it was like T-Rex with the glass of water shaking in Jurassic Park. It was like
Yeah.
that. And there were guys that worked in the basement that said when she would walk around, you knew it because you'd hear the stomping, stomping, stomping. And they were trying to do sound stuff in the basement, and they were trying to be quiet down there, but the stomping just permeated everything.
Wow.
And so, oh, and she also smelled. She used my phone once, and it smelled like somebody shoved it up their ass for like 2.5 hours.
Oh, dude, that is disgusting.
And that was from being on it for 3 minutes, easily.
Fuck.
So,
I would
anyway.
have made her buy me a new one.
Oh, and she had kids. So that means somebody
Oh.
fucked this lump of shit more than
Yep.
once.
Yep.
So,
You know, us guys are disgusting, dude. We'll do, especially some guys more than others, but all guys have gone to disgusting places, so.
yeah, I think...
Pretty sure that was a disgusting guy knocked that disgusting chick up.
Oh, oh, but that's the thought too. I don't know if all the kids had the same dad. If they had this one guy that was the same dad, I can go, well, that guy's fucked up, and whatever. He stayed with her a few years, but if it was different dads, that means more than one guy got into that dirty, smelly mess. I can't imagine what it smelled like under the panties.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? You probably have to.
I'm telling you, dude. There's a lid for every pot, and guess what? I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm sure she's had sex since then. I don't know how long it's been since you've been in contact with her, but I can almost guarantee.
Oh,
I know guys. We all know guys, and somebody has been having sex with her.
yeah, probably over 8 years since I saw her, but yeah, but it probably peels apart like an old grilled cheese, that whole thing.
Velveeta?
Like when you have a sticker on something and it's sort of warm outside and it's sort of you kind of peel it off or whatever.
Oh, that's disgusting. Why am I laughing? Gross.
Yeah. Or better yet, when you try and glue something together with rubber cement, but it won't quite cure.
Oh, that's nasty. That's horrible.
And
it's for some reason it's a double standard, but it's even worse on a woman. Women are supposed to smell good. Damn it.
yeah, but anyway, apparently one day she went into the ladies' room, and Tony, this woman we worked with, went in there after her, came out screaming, horrified at what had gone on in there.
Yeah.
So Dave was like, what the fuck's going on? She's like, the bathroom. She couldn't even talk. Dave goes in there, and it was like she must have reached down, touched her toes, and then fired like a cannon because it was all up on the walls.
No, it wasn't.
It was everywhere but the toilet.
No fucking way.
And then the best part of the whole thing is, and I'm telling this story secondhand, but the best part, and thank God I wasn't there that day, he goes out of there like, oh my God, horrified, and notices this chick is walking around and there's shit all up her back.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. He's told this story so many times in graphic detail that I know it's not made up. And she...
There's people like this.
Yes.
Let's put aside the fact that she's a woman. She's allegedly a human being.
Yeah.
Who?
Allegedly. So.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. I've never met such a person. I'm happy to say.
Oh well, yeah. And she was so vile that on a drive, Dave and I were going with our boss at that time, driving out to a convention. And on the way to the convention, we were singing in the car. You remember the old diarrhea song when you're sliding into home and you're... Yeah, we changed that to the Diana. And we were making up things that coincided with her disgusting personality and physical being. So, yeah. But see, the worst part is the boss, who was also a lunatic, hired her because he thought it was funny.
That's real funny.
Yeah. And it was vile. The gross part is we were selling movies to independent video stores. This is before they all pretty much shut down.
Right.
And she would call up, and we'd have like these, I don't even want to call them softcore, but kind of movies and stuff you'd see on Cinemax and crap like that.
Yeah, just adult theme shit.
And she would talk like she was talking sexy on the phone to these guys. Oh, sweetie, you know where... And she sounded horrible. She sounded like a retarded hillbilly. Oh, sweetie, you know you want to buy this Girls Gone Crazy #7. There's girls with their... There's girls with their bikinis on. Oh. And they had no idea what she looked like. And I'm doing a pretty accurate representation. I haven't done that voice in so long. I hope Dave listens to this because he's going to laugh his balls off.
She sounds like a peach, dude.
Oh, ha, 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 ha. Ha, ha, ha. And I used to run around doing that laugh. And then she'd shut the fuck up. I'd do that laugh and then
never gay before.
Yeah, oh, man. Oh,
thanks.
God, her naked, that could turn anybody. That could turn that could turn Wilt Chamberlain gay. Oh.
Well, apparently not, since she has kids.
Oh, gross.
You haven't seen her in 8 years. She probably has a few more.
Well, yeah. Oh, so gross. I hope not. But
that's disgusting.
Yeah.
See, this goes back to drinking, dude. Dudes will get drunk
yes.
and fuck anything.
It has to be.
That has to be it. There's no other human explanation.
No, I can. It's got to be somebody with a keg on a backpack and just pumping it right into their fucking, like into an IV or something, because there's no way. There's no way otherwise. I can't imagine one single sober human being doing this, unless they're like Helen Keller without a sense of smell. That's it. You know what I mean? Exactly. Can't see, can't hear, can't smell. Oh God, so gross. And
there's somebody who's so sidetracked with their meth high, they don't even realize who they're fucking.
Yeah. Well, we did work around the corner from a halfway house, so it's possible.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you buried the lead.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
Who it,
the crackies.
That's who it is. All the degenerates are. She has a bunch of degenerate baby daddies.
That's what Dave used to call them, the crackies.
Nice.
Oh, there was one that worked there. And she, and I'm sure Dave and I will bring this up on the other show, but there was one that worked there after I was gone, and Dave still worked there, that had a baby. This chick was also nasty, had a huge mustache, and actually she walked in on me talking about her mustache once, and she said, and Dave just got this look, and she was right behind me, and she said, "Are you talking about me?" And I just turned around, looked at her, and I said, "No." But this chick had a baby, did what you're not supposed to do, had the baby sleeping in bed with her, and of course the worst happened. She rolled over and smothered the kid to death.
Oh, man.
In bed.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. And she named the baby, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting this mixed up. She smothered the baby to death, probably a couple months old, and had a funeral and made invitations to the funeral. And Dave got the invitation from her, and it said, "Remembering my little angle." That's. I know. That's so horrible.
But it's so horrible. I wasn't expecting to laugh at the outcome of this story. Oh, that's horrible.
I know.
Oh, her little angle.
I was like, I don't remember my reaction when I have to ask him. My reaction when he told me that was I can't remember. But you know, there's part of you, and I'm realistic, and I'm going, well, this kid would not have had a good life. She was a junkie. She was a serious junkie. Although she had cleaned herself up, she'd gotten new teeth and everything else, but she was still a mess.
Right.
And who knows how this kid would have grown up if he would have been okay or anything else, no dad around, that kind of thing. So I don't know. It's like, is it better off or whatever? But yeah, I don't remember. Just my little angle. Oh my God.
My little angle.
Oh, so bad. But yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk a little more in depth about that on Ain't Dead Yet. So yeah. So.
That's the sister toy to My Little Pony that never sold as well.
Oh, God.
My Little Angle.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I'm gonna feel bad for that one later. Thanks a lot.
So is everybody who's laughing at this right now. They're all laughing and punching themselves in the face right now. Like, I'm an asshole. Oh, God. Yeah, go donate to a charity about now, everybody.
Yeah, please do.
Fuck. All right. Well, we're at our we're at about a little past the hour mark here,
Yep.
and I know we wanted to get into since we were talking about drinking and stuff like that. And I told you we were talking about doing news stories and stuff, and I knew we wouldn't need to do much because we just veer into one thing or to the next. But
yeah, exactly. We're good for that.
But we did want to do some drinking tips or like hangover and things like that. So we have a little theme song you concocted for that. Why don't we throw that in right here? Just the
tip. Yeah, it's our tip segment called Just the Tip.
That's right.
I love that fucking title, by the way.
Yeah, it fits. Hopefully.
Just the tip.
It usually fits if you use enough spit or lube.
Exactly. Okay, so I have a tip about hangover cures. You know, we've all heard of, wanting to drink more or eat some greasy food or aspirin or drinking water the night before while you're drinking. And, all those seem to work good. But for me, I found this a product called, look, I'm placing products here like I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
But there's this, it's called Pico, P-I-C-O-T. Have you heard of it?
No, not at all.
It's kind of like Alka-Seltzer, but the whole box is written in Spanish. And ex of mine was Mexican, and he always was giving me this stuff because I drink a lot.
Yeah.
So it's less for headaches, but more for you when you wake up and your stomach is all fucked up. And I live off this stuff. I get less of the headaches, hangovers than I do just my stomach feeling like blah.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's kind of like Alka-Seltzer, and I tried regular old American Alka-Seltzer for hangovers, for stomach-related stuff, and it doesn't really work for me. But this Pico stuff, man, I swear by it. It comes in a little packet, and of course, since it's a Mexican product, it's a good 9 times cheaper than Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
And it's a powder form. It doesn't come in a little tablet, but it bubbles up all the same. Throw that in a little bit of water, and I'm telling you, anybody listening if you haven't heard of Pico, check it out. P-I-C-O-T. That's my just the tip for stomach hangover remedies. If you got trouble, look it up.
Huh. Where do you find like a little Mexican grocery store? Like
exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Carniceria?
Yeah, exactly. Anything Mexican related, yeah, the little Mexican stores or the bodegas, they all have them. Just, you'll find them. You probably won't find it in like a Rite Aid or a CVS or anything like that, but just look for the Mexican spot. Your local Mexican spot. They know what it is and they have it there. They'll give it to you. And it's cheap.
Nice. Well, for me, the big thing that works with the head hangovers, because that's what I get. I get the bad headache and the nausea and stuff like that. I've been getting migraines for a good 9 or 10 years now, something like that. And I realize it's the same feelings. So before I go to sleep, I take 3 Excedrin migraine. And those things will kick the shit out of any hangover. Even if you forget, if you wake up in the morning and you take a couple, in about an hour, you're going to feel a whole lot better. Because whatever it is that's in that, it's the same symptoms as a migraine, basically a hangover. Nausea, sunlight hurts your eyes, you get a bad headache, that kind of thing. And that's
right.
it. Find whatever helps. Man, I get the hiccups now from my last finishing my drink. But, that is the same thing as a hangover, basically. It's the same. I mean, migraine is more intense and shuts you down quicker, but, if it helps that, then it definitely can help a hangover, and it works for me every single time.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I've used that, and yeah, that's another thing I swear by. I'm right there with you 100% on the Excedrin. Regular Excedrin works for me too, but in extreme cases, the Excedrin migraine, I agree, that's even that much better. It works like a charm.
Yeah, and a regular headache, it kicks the shit out of that thing in 5 minutes.
Kicks its ass
every time. So that's the big one for me as far as a hangover cure.
That's a good tip, dude. That's a good just the tip.
I like it.
Yeah.
So we got the head, the stomach taken care of. Get your Pico and your Excedrin. put them together, and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be flying for the rest of the day.
You'll be all ready to drink again.
Yeah. Oh, another one actually, really quick. When you're talking about the stomach thing, dehydration. Dehydration.
I was taking a sip of my balance beer, so I didn't have time. My reaction was a little slower, but I was just about to make fun of you. Dehydration.
Dehydration.
I love emphasis placed on the wrong syllables of words. Dehydration for your hangover.
God, hangover. Dehydration. But an accidental thing I found, because I used to drink like Gatorade all the time when I feel sick the next day. But I had Pedialyte in my house for my daughter, and Pedialyte is great for that stuff. And even
Yeah, that's what I hear, man.
yeah, there's a guy I work with who does the same thing, and he'll drink it sometimes before going out on the road. He'll drink a bottle of it before heading, because we work outside. So he'll drink a whole bottle of Pedialyte when it's on the really hot days, and he said it helps him, and that's what it's for hydrating you and sort of replenishing whatever, it's meant for kids who get vomiting and diarrhea and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great, and it's a big help, and they make orange and grape and stuff like that, so it doesn't taste too bad. If you get the plain stuff, it tastes like thick water, kind of. It's sort of weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like syrupy water if you get the flavorless stuff. But yeah, get something that's got a little flavor to it, and yeah, it'll help you kick whatever you got going on. It really does work. So
There you go.
especially if you've been puking, that's a good thing to drink some Pedialyte.
All right. And if you have kids, make sure after you drink it all to go replace it in case your fucking kid gets sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy's drinking all the Pedialyte. Let me run to the store really fast.
Yeah, sorry, honey. Tequila didn't. Daddy had tequila.
All right, I guess we're almost about ready to get out. Oh, I have a quick side note. This is harkens back on a very quick comment. I don't even know if you remember saying this, but just on a quick side note, just a one-word answer, yes or no.
Okay.
Is Bo Jackson still alive?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and actually, I just
You mentioned his name. I'm like, I haven't heard that name in a while. Is he alive?
you know what? Just to give you a quick on that, the reason I thought of him is maybe a week ago, I read an article that after he left the White Sox, he invested in a small chain of banks in Illinois, and
Yeah.
there was an article about how well he's doing and how well his banks are doing. He's made a ton of money. It was like, usually hear about the poor investments that athletes made, and this is one where he made an excellent investment, and he's set for life from the
Nice.
profit he's made. Like, not multi-billionaire kind of, but he can live off of it. So
Fun.
yeah, he's
Good
a
for
pretty
him,
good
man.
businessman, and you don't hear that a lot with athletes. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, fuck. Bo knows.
yeah, I guess he does.
Shit.
So, well, I guess on that note, good for Bo Jackson.
Good for Bo Jackson. Good for us.
Yeah, so I think that pretty well wraps it up. And thanks again to you guys for listening. Always check back with us, abnormalentertainment.com. You can get the mega feed with all the shows. You can get just our feed if that's all you want to listen to, or you can pick and choose through all the shows. We got 4 shows running right now, and we're going to have more. And you can always find us on iTunes, either Abnormal Entertainment or Raise Your Spirits. So
Yeah.
we're happy.
And don't forget, you can find us on Facebook at Raise Your Spirits, on Twitter at RYS Podcasts. What else? Our email address, ryspodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, we're all over the place. You can find us.
Yep. So until next week, I think we'll say cheers with my empty glass.
Cheers. I still have a little balanced beer left.
All right. See you next week.
folks.
Life is short, so better party like a rock star, kick a little ass. Good cold one, snap a fat one in the middle. Like a porn star, slap a little ass. Life is short, so better party like a rock star, party like a rock star. Good cold one, snap a fat one in the soul. Knucklehead, SoCal loco.
Dude, I got some killer fucking boogers. God damn. They won't- You know how you keep digging and expecting the last of it. It's fucking never ending. Like, what the fuck is going on? Poking around in my nose. It feels so fucking good too. But it's annoying to have to keep. I want it to stop now.
Oh my god. That's great. That's great. You know, it never it ceases to amaze me that you or Jeff or Dave, like, and granted I've only recorded once with Dave, but you and Jeff especially never fail to provide me with something to put at the end of the podcast.
Well, there you go. Boogers for everyone.
That should be the title of this episode, Boogers for Everyone. It just make no sense until they get to the very end.
Oh man, I'm fucking laughing already.
Because I start recording. I always start recording and give us a few minutes just to make sure that, you know, the levels seem okay. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I was playing with the just the tip. So I got like 12 minutes already.
Nice.
Oh, God. All right.
Well, there you go. There's your gym.
Find this and other great shows at abnormalentertainment.com. Sundays, David and Tony Sabal break down the newest comics of the week on the Atomic Fallout Society. Tuesdays, Jeff Dolniak and Kevin Moyers talk movies, pop culture, and more on Cinema Head Cheese, the podcast. Wednesdays, David Hayes and Kevin Moyers discuss the struggle to chase a dream on Ain't Dead Yet. And Thursday is Guys Night Out, when you raise your spirits with Cam Harston and Kevin Moyers. Subscribe to every show, every week, at abnormalentertainment.com or find us on iTunes.